Welcome to the recap, what United Methodists need to know. I'm Chuck Long.
And I'm Lila Marigza. We begin in Keswa, Angola, where some exciting projects are happening at the Methodist Mission Station.
The ministry was established in the late 1800s to support the physical and spiritual needs of villagers who live in the surrounding rural area, which is part of the East Angola Conference. A volunteers in mission group from the Florida Conference recently visited to offer their talents to the villages.
A medical team performed 26 cataract surgeries. They removed lenses damaged by the sun and malnutrition and replaced them with artificial ones. The patients went from being nearly blind to being able to read a clock. Joanna Pascual dances with joy at having her vision restored.
É assim. Obrigado.
To fight malnutrition, volunteers served at a weekly Bible study and feeding program for children. They also established a process to create protein-rich peanut butter and vitamin mix bars. Volunteers helped make 500 bags of the nutritional bars and distributed them to elderly people in the community.
Several hundred women participated in a Bible-based training in self-defense. Women are vulnerable to sexual assaults when working in the fields or walking alone at night.
There was also an effort to eradicate breeding habitats for mosquitoes that carry malaria. Villagers and volunteers filled in low-lying areas that collect water and then mapped them so that a drone can treat them with a safe insecticide. Over 500 of the habitats were destroyed and villagers were trained to continue the work.
Volunteer Ben Jacobs said, "Every one of us is doing something different to help these villages."
We've had a lot to celebrate this summer.
We certainly have. A United Methodist from Macon, Georgia won a bronze medal in sailing during the 2023 Special Olympics World Games in Berlin, Germany.
James Thigpen has been sailing with his partner, Phil Martin, for more than 20 years. The pair raced their boat around a course of buoys, both into and against the wind.
Thigpen lives at Wesley Glen Ministries, a residential community serving adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the South Georgia Conference.
In Mutare, Zimbabwe, more than 950 students from 19 countries received degrees during Africa University's 29th graduation ceremony. The class of 2023 is the largest in university history.
There were many firsts this year. Women represented 60% of the graduating class. The first deaf student graduated with a Bachelor of Divinity degree, and the first doctoral cohort received PhDs in Peace and Governance.
Since its 30th anniversary, Africa University has launched a new School of Law. The institution has also offered over $2 million in scholarships and financial aid, and is building a women's housing facility in partnership with the East Ohio Conference.
Next, we head to Camp Innaba in the Eastern Pennsylvania Conference, where adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities gather during Challenge Camp, a traditional camp experience that is tailored to campers' abilities.
From swimming and archery to karaoke and Bible lessons, the campers relaxed and connected with friends as they spent some time away from their guardians and daily routines.
8 challenge camps are offered throughout the summer. Some campers have been attending camp for 40 years.
Volunteer counselor Macy Lake said it feels like a kindness bubble. There's only support.
Now it's time to check in with you. The BeUMC hashtag allows you to share stories of joy with the world.
United Methodists were representing with a tent at the Wild Goose Festival in North Carolina last month. Clergy and laity from the North Carolina Conference provided a welcoming space that featured speakers and offered time for fellowship.
Aldersgate UMC in Wichita, Kansas hosted an out-of-this-world stellar VBS this year. Participants had many opportunities for fun, all while learning about God's love. Everyone left with a reminder to shine the light of Jesus.
A recently established church in Texas, United Methodist of Baytown and Mont Belvieu, hosted a music and arts camp this summer to celebrate the creativity that God has given all of us. Campers shared their gifts with the congregation during a worship service.
And nearly 30 bicycle riders joined a BeUMC team for Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride Across Iowa in July. The team offered prayers as they completed the 8-day ride, which covered more than 500 miles. Participant Craig Ferguson described the team as connectionalism at its best.
Wow. So where do you see God working in your life and community? We would love for you to share your story.
Simply add the hashtag BeUMC when you post on social media. Your story might even be featured on a future episode of The Recap. Learn more and be inspired at umc.org/BeUMC.
Thanks for joining us for The Recap. Stay in the know every day on umc.org.
See you next time.